Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? Hoping everybody is having a blessed day, blessed Wednesday. I'm doing good. Still kind of stressed, not trying to stress myself out too much with this corona thing. Just trying to stay prayed up and, you know, um, trying to keep the anxiety level low. Not hasn't been easy. Um, but, my life is in Jehovah God's hands. That's all I can do is stay prayed up. Hoping everybody is. Well, that don't make no sense. But these people gonna blow their eardrums out with these loudspeakers. I just be so glad when life goes back to normal. When everything opened up again, I was just thinking I need to go to the hair store, but I'm sure the hair store is closed. Cause I don't know about where you live, but around here they got everything closed except for the restaurants and the banks. Um, the restaurants and the banks and then health, the hospital, places like that are the only places that are open. Everything else is closed. So, um, and the stores, you know, um, the stores, the gas stations, the banks. Those are the only places that are open. Everything else, that where you got to go get your food and necessities and gas, and every place else is closed. So it's a little frustrating. I need to go to the hair store. Sister got to get her weave tight. I was looking at Mommy Chrissy's channel and I seen that she had the braided wig. I just think that is so the coolest thing. So I'm thinking about getting that. Stay tuned. I'm thinking about getting that done. I'm thinking about getting braided wig because I just that's a whole nother video. My hair is just not growing good. I don't know what to do. I'm thinking about cutting it off and just starting over. I don't know, but I'm just really frustrated with my hair right now. So I'll be glad when the hair store open. I can get me a nice spring hairstyle, and we go from there. So I'll just be glad when all this is over. Um, right now, I just can't think about the future. Want to get. I just want to get through this alive and healthy. I want my family and everybody to get through this alive and healthy. We can get through this alive and healthy, then we're doing great. Right now, I'm just going day by day. I'm in survival mode, just going day by day, just trying to survive, and I'm not even thinking about the future at this present time. I'm just trying to get through this corona situation, and if I can get through this alive and well, then I praise Jehovah God. So I'm hoping everybody, all of you is staying safe and healthy, and I pray that all of you, you know, continue to stay safe and healthy. So with that being said, I want to talk about. I know I've been talking about this corona thing a lot lately, and I know I told you guys I was going to get you some content out there. So I got to start knocking out some stuff that. Well, this topic wasn't on my list. It was something that it was a video I was going to do the other day, but didn't get around to doing it. Because I was looking at the thing is, I was looking at Strong Mommy Chrissy's moving video. Well, I've been looking at videos the last couple of weeks or so with her and this whole moving situation ordeal, and you know, I thank God she found a house for her and the baby. She's in Texas now, um, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Hopefully, she can set some roots there, and the children will have a little bit more stability. I'm so happy for her. I know I was keeping her uplifted in prayer, but I was noticing I was reading a lot of things in her comics section. All three of the mommies, particularly, but mainly Strong Mommy Chrissy and Jazz. Those are the two that they really, really come down hard on. And this situation with Strong Mommy Chrissy moving, losing the house in um, um, Vegas and all that. That whole ordeal. I did a video on here. Get a chance if you haven't got a chance, get over there and shoot over there and check out that video where um, I'm talking about the Strong Mommy Chrissy and the reactors. You hadn't got a chance to check that video out, get over there and check it out. But I noticed that, just reading her comment section and everything, and I noticed that she gets a lot of negativity. She has a lot of supporters too. She has more supporters than she has, negative. But the the negative reactors and people in the comment section, I always notice a common theme. I always notice that they're consistently putting the blame on her. They're consistently putting, like, the fact that she has 9 kids. They're consistently putting the blame on her. I don't know if people think that she went to a sperm bank and got all the kids via a sperm donor. I don't know if that's what people think. I don't know if the people think that she actually had the man to help her procreate to make these children. But I think it's safe to say that she didn't go to a sperm bank and to produce 9 kids. Um, she had 3 other children, which was her husband. And I talk about strong mommy Christians because she has 9 children, and by I think 6 fathers. I don't want to misquote here. Um, and people pretty much, not just her, but all black women that have children um, by more than one father. I know I have 2 fathers, 2 children. I have 2 fathers, and people have came down hard on me for having 2 fathers. And black women really get judged and scrutinized and I know that's a common theme a lot when people in her comment section and reactors. You laid there and got your legs open and you had, you know, 9 kids, and I just noticed that nobody is holding the men accountable. This situation, um, this past situation with her, the whole situation, the ordeal with her moving and everything, people were constantly saying you should lay there and had 9 kids and a lot of people were saying that. But I noticed nobody was holding the fathers accountable. And when people make those comments, regardless of whether it's to Mommy Chrissy, me, or anybody else, I'm gonna always take you back to one question. When people want to sit up there and make all those comments about, you had all these kids and yada this and yada that and this and that and the other, I'm gonna always take you back to just one question: where are the fathers? Whoever want to sit up there and say, well, whatever the situation is, you know, you should you know, if whether regardless if you think a single mother is making bad, whether it's Throw Mommy Chrissy or any other single mother, you think that she's making some bad choices and she's not making right decisions for the kids, and this and that and the other, and it's you. You should do this. You shouldn't have do that. You shouldn't have do that as a mother. You shouldn't do this and that and the other. But they never ever hold the fathers accountable. My question is where are the fathers? I am a big advocate. I'm a firm, first of all, disclaimer, I am a firm believer in personal responsibility. And I've stated that in many videos. I am a firm believer in personal responsibility. And I'm a firm believer in women and men taking responsibility for their actions. So if you do something, you go out here and you have unprotected sex outside of marriage and you get pregnant, then yes, you should take responsibility for that. But as a woman and as a woman should take responsibility for that, and the man should take responsibility for that. It's not. I don't believe in this theory of, you shouldn't have laid there and got them kids and da 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 da. Sitting there putting all the blame on the women and never holding the men accountable. And I think that is the number one problem in our community. It is the number one problem in our black community, is that the black women are the ones that's getting the brunt of the blame and responsibility of the children, when there's no sperm banks in the black community. We can't go out and make babies by ourselves. Okay. Um, we had someone to help us with that, because an egg can't be fertilized without sperm. It just can't happen. Okay. That egg has to have a sperm cell in order to produce a child. So it will be safe to say that it takes two people. It takes two people. I always say, this is my theory, I always say it takes two irresponsible people to make a baby outside of marriage. Because if at least one person was being responsible, it wouldn't be no baby. That one person could have been the woman, that one person could have been the man. Both of them were being irresponsible, because there would be no child if, if somebody was taking responsibility. And I'm a firm believer in personal responsibility for men and for women, not just women. Children have two parents. They have the mother and they have the father. And when people were sitting up here talking about this whole situation with Mommy Chrissy moving and all this type of stuff, and talking about her moving and this and that and the other, and just making all different types of comments, I, I always went back to that initial question: where are the fathers? Where were the fathers? Where were any of these children's fathers? Did any of these children's fathers come forth to help her move these children from Vegas to Texas? Did any of the children's father come forth to help her to make this move? Particularly the one that she was just married to, that she has 3 children by? This man didn't come and help her move from Vegas to Texas. I noticed that none of the fathers came forth to help her make this move. This was a huge thing here. And I take my this is a stocking cap. I take my stocking cap off to Mommy Chrissy. Cause I'm scared. I would be scared to drive that far. I think the furthest I have driven is to Flint, Flint, Michigan, and that's a long story. I might tell it. But the furthest I drove was to Flint. No, I drove to Lansing, Michigan. I drove to Flint. I drove to Coldwater, and of course the next city over, which I'm not gonna tell you what city that is. I always drive to that city all the time. But I think the furthest that I have driven was to Flint, Michigan. That's the furthest I've driven. I would be afraid to drive from here to Atlanta, or even from here to Chicago. I would be scared to make a drive like that. So I just think that for Strong Mommy Christie to make such a huge huge trip like that by herself with her kids, my girl is bad. She bad. Because I'd be too scared to. I'd be so scared to. I'd be trying to get somebody to drive me or whatever. I would be so scared to make that drive. I know I probably need to get past that fear, but yeah, kudos to her for that. So God gave her the strength to make that move and everything, but she was doing it all by herself with her and the children. None of the fathers came forth to help her, and that was my question: where are the fathers? Where are the fathers to help her to make this move? One of them should have came forth, particularly the one that she was married to, old buddy Cuz, as she calls him. Why come old buddy Cuz didn't come help her move from Vegas to Texas? Why did she have to make this move by herself? She did not make those babies, but she did not lay down and make them babies by herself. Okay, she had help, and I'm just really getting tired of people coming, talking about not just her, but all single mothers, putting all the blunt of the responsibility of the raising of the children on the mother. Like I said, that is the number one problem in the black community. No one ever holds the men accountable. No one ever holds black men, and that is our problem. That is the reason, one of the reasons why we can't get ahead as a people, because no one holds the black man accountable. All the burden and responsibility of the raising of the children are on the black women. And you guys know, I've stated in other videos, a woman cannot raise, particularly a young black male, um, by her. She can do it, but he needs a father. Young black males need their fathers, and young black females need their fathers as well. Okay? So putting all that burden and responsibility on the black woman's shoulders, for as far as the children, is not okay. And not holding the men accountable is not okay. Nobody ever holds these men accountable. And that is not okay. My question was, where were the fathers? None of these fathers came forth to help her make this move. That would have been a blessing, at least if one of them had came forth to help her make the move, particularly the one that she was just married to. It would have been nice if he had came forth to help her make this move. She did not lay down and make them kids by herself. But everybody wanted to put all the blunt of the blame on her. When you laid down and had 9 kids, and who helped her have them 9 kids? Who helped her? She didn't go to a sperm. I'm pretty sure she didn't go to a sperm bank. I think it'd be safe to say she didn't go to a sperm bank. Okay, somebody laid there right along with her and helped her make them babies. So somebody should have been coming forth. Nobody ever holds those men accountable. Nobody ever talks about how um, nobody ever talks about how these men are irresponsible for walking away from her and not helping her. Nobody ever talks about that. They always want to put all the blame on her. As if she lay there and made it took two irresponsible people to make them babies. And yes, she does have accountability. She has a responsibility. She's being a woman and she's owning up to her responsibility. But what about these fathers? Minus the one that she's got the custody. I'm not talking about him. But the other fathers. The other fathers. Why aren't the other fathers coming forth and taking responsibility and helping her with to raise the child that they had by her, or giving her some type of assistance? Nobody ever talks about that. It amazes me how they always want to blame her. Well, they have a responsibility too. Okay, not just her. She's being a woman and she's owning up to her responsibility. Okay, what about these men? Talk about how these men are being irresponsible and walking away from their children. See, black community supports that. When you sit up here and you put all the blame on the woman, on the black woman, for children outside of marriage, what you're doing is you're making excuses for that man, and you are enabling. We enable our men in our community, and that is the large part of the reason why the black community is in the shape that it's in, because we enable our men. We enable our men to be irresponsible. We put all the blame on our women, but we don't hold our men accountable. Okay, other cultures hold the men accountable, but not the black community. They put all the blunt and the responsibility of the children on the black woman's shoulders. It is the black woman's responsibility to raise healthy, well-adjusted children. It is the black woman's responsibility to hold up the black community. How does that sound? It don't sound good, does it? The Bible says the man is the head. I've stated that in many other videos. The Bible said the man is the head. The man is the head of the woman. It didn't say the woman was the head of the man. Okay? The black men are supposed to be doing more in the black community. But we enable our men, and we don't hold our men accountable. We put all the blunt and the responsibility on the black woman's shoulders. This is the reason why we are becoming a permanent underclass as a people, and we will never get ahead. And the black community will continue to be in the shape that it's in, and it's going to get worse. Because the fathers, the men in the community, is not doing what they're supposed to do. I was listening to Louis Farrakhan. He was on the Breakfast Club about this. I think was a few club. You know, I love to watch the different interviews that they have on the Breakfast Club. They have some interesting interviews on the Breakfast Club, and I think this was a few years back. He was on the Breakfast Club. I forget what year it was, but I was in this, and these are some of the things that he was talking about. These are some of the things that Louis Farrakhan was talking about. People really listen to him. Now I don't really believe in his religion, but 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 some of the things that Louis Farrakhan talks about is on point. If you really sit down and you really listen to him speak, he be on point. And he's talking about, this is the types of things that he's talking about, holding the men accountable. Men being there for the black women and helping the black women raising the children. Men upholding their communities. Black men even policing their own communities. Black men raising young black boys to grow up to be responsible men, strong, responsible men, because that's what they need. A woman can't teach a boy how to be a man. It's virtually impossible. They need their fathers in the home. But people seem to ignore that when they want to put all the blame and burden and responsibility on the black woman's shoulders. And as long as we continue to do that, and as long as we continue to enable our men and make excuses for our men and put all the blame on the women, we will never get ahead as a people. We will never get ahead as a people, and we will remain a permanent underclass. And we will continue to be in this cycle of oppression, because a lot of this, we complain about all racism and oppression and all this kind of stuff, but a lot of it is we could we can't eliminate it completely, but if we change, they will change. If we change, now, I don't know if somebody agree with me or not, but if we change, they will change. We gotta change. There's certain changes that we as a black people have to make. I'm gonna keep it 100 on here. I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. There's a lot of changes us as black people have to make, and that's one of the changes that we need to make. Is we need to start holding our men accountable. The man is the head. The black man is supposed to be the head, not the other way around. The black woman is not the head. The black man is the head. A black woman shouldn't be raising children by herself. It's not even natural. It's not even natural for a black woman. It wasn't natural when I was doing it. And I felt it the whole time I was doing it. It's not natural. It's not natural for a black man to raise children by himself. It's supposed to be two people together raising we need strong black families. I'm an advocate for that. Strong black families. We need strong black families. And that is the only way that we're going to get out of this vicious cycle of oppression. And a lot of it has to do with us. Believe it or not, a lot of it has to do with us. You know, we don't support our own people. We don't stick together. We don't support our own people. We put all the blame in everything that's going on in the black community is being put on the black woman. The first thing that people says when you hear about something bad happening in the black community, the first thing that people say is, well, they come from a single parent home raised by a single mother. Wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. What you should be saying is they're growing up in a fatherless home. They're growing up in a home where there's no father. Where's their father? To teach these young men the right way to go. To teach these young men that they shouldn't be picking up a gun and shooting their brother. To teach these young men how to go out and earn money. To teach these young men entrepreneurship, how to be real men and take care of their families. Those are some of the things that Louis Farrakhan was talking about. How to be a real man and take care of your family like you're supposed to. It's interesting because one time I went to court with my youngest son's dad. I went to court. Judge gave us a little lecture, and he asked my son's father, my young son's dad, or shall I say sperm donor, because I think I'm complimenting him by calling him a dad because he really wasn't a dad. But I would say my youngest son's other half, other parent. He was asking him, the judge was asking him, well, why did you, because he has other babies' mamas. He has other baby mamas. And he said, okay, well, why did you make a family over here when you already had other children? Because he was crying about how he had other child support cases. And, I don't know if he was expecting the judge to feel sorry for him, whatever. And the judge was like, well, why did you make a family here if you had those other families, why did you make another family over here? hmm That's what the judge asked him that. And of course, he gave us a little lecture. The judge gave us a little lecture, and he was right. He was telling us, he was lecturing us about casual sex and all this type of stuff. And everything that the judge was saying was 100% on point. I can't argue with the truth. You know, all I could do is sit there and listen and shake my head because if you speaking the truth, I can't argue with you. I can't argue with the truth. The truth is the truth. Okay, it is what it is. So that's basically what he asked him. Why did you make another family when you already had? That's holding the men accountable. Well, the judge always the judge always took my side. hmm Okay, that's that's holding the men accountable, and not just putting all the blame. And when he lectured both of us. He wasn't just lecturing me. He lectured him too. He lectured the both of us. See, in most cases, the black woman is holding up her end of the deal. The black woman is being a woman and stepping up and taking her responsibility in the situation. So I don't understand why a lot of times black men, like on my one video that I did, this guy came in and said, the one about black men crying about child support, that video there. Stop blaming the men. I said, no, I didn't say nothing about blaming the men. See, when I do videos addressing the women, and sometimes I do videos addressing the women, and I'm probably gonna do some more addressing the women. Oh, they're either silent or they're in full agreement to what I'm saying. But then when I say something, when I do a video addressing the men, that was a video that was addressing the men. Oh, why you blaming the men? When I'm addressing the women, oh, they in full agreement. Or they silent. But when I do a video addressing the men, that's the first thing they always deflect. They always deflect. They always deflect. When I do a video addressing the men, they always deflect. Then that's the first thing that come out their mouth. Stop blaming the men. Ain't nobody said nothing about blaming the men, but I'm holding the men accountable. It is the responsibility of the mother and the father to raise the children. It's not just on the mother. And women don't lay down and make children by themselves. And I notice that's a common theme particularly with these three mothers, because out of all the single mothers that's on YouTube, those are the three. They got Ming. I don't really watch Ming that much, but it's mainly those three that they attack. I don't see too many reaction videos on Ming. It's mainly those three that they attack, and I notice that's a common thing. They always throwing blame at the mothers, at the mothers. Well, you shouldn't have chose him. You should have choose better. And it's interesting because I seen somebody put a post on Facebook. They said, and this was the truth roof. They said instead of telling the women to choose better, tell the men to be better. Woo, whoop! I said whoop, bloop, as Nene Leakes would say, bloop. Whoop! There it is. Instead of telling women to choose better, tell the men to be better. Yes, that is huge. That's a powerful statement. You're always telling women you should have made a better choice. Well, why try telling these men to be better? Okay, they need to be better, and we need to start holding our black men accountable, and stop making excuses for these men out here. I don't believe in it. It takes two irresponsible people to make a baby. Now, some guy's gonna probably come on here and say, "Stop blaming the men," because when they say that, they're deflecting. See, they want to continue this vicious perpetual cycle of always putting all the blame and the burdens on the black women. We're exhausted. We're exhausted of having all the burdens of the black community on our shoulders. Okay, our men need to stand up and be real men. And the only way that that's going to happen is that they stick around and actually help raise their children. Or the cycle's just going to continue. And our race of people is going to be a permanent underclass. Dr. Claude Anderson wrote a book. I wanted to do a book review on that book. I forget what the name of it is. He was talking about that in that book. It's deep. I'm gonna do a book review on it, but I have to. I let someone borrow the book, and they didn't give it back to me. So I have to actually go back and purchase the book again. And when I read the book, I'm gonna actually do a book review. My book reviews typically don't do so well on here, but I'm gonna do a book review on that one because a lot of the things that he's saying in that book is deep. It's deep. It's deep. Black people sit around and complain about racism, other people coming in our communities and making money off of us and this and that and the other and yada yada yada. But then we refuse to make changes. We won't make changes. We're so busy. Who shot John? Killing and stealing and destroying and hating on each other, not supporting each other, putting all the burdens responsibility on the women and not holding the men accountable. As long as we continue to do those things, you know, we will never get ahead as a people. And yes, oppression will continue and racism will continue. And a lot of it, I'm not saying, because there's a lot of historical things, systematic things in place, is the reason why we're in a situation. But if we make changes, we make changes, we can minimize that. We can minimize the impact. Will it go away completely? No. But if we make changes within ourselves and our communities, we can minimize that. We can minimize that impact. If we change, they'll change. They will, but we won't change. You know, and that's one of the things that need to be changed. Stop putting all the blame on the women and making excuses for the men, and start holding these men accountable for their actions. Okay, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I don't want to hear no men talking about stop blaming the men. No, you try being a man. Okay. So in the comment section, uh, like, like, and subscribe and share this video. I got some more interesting video topics coming up. Stay safe, stay healthy, wash them hands for 20 seconds. Peace and love. This is Sweet J.